Okay, folks, welcome to Sunday Night Futures Live. This is Bob Desmond, and welcome. I hope everybody had a great Christmas. Mine was really good, and looking forward to hopefully a nice New Year's. Will, hello. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. I did. Thank you very much, sir. I hope you had the same. Amigo, hello to you. Merry Christmas. Can we look at VIXI? Is that a VIX ETF? Yeah, we can look at that. Franklin. Trader Isaac. Yes, smash the like button. Thank you, Trader Isaac. Yes, please. Paul, happy holidays to you. Joseph. Thanks for your experience and insight, Bob. Have a good trading week. Same to you. Further thoughts on OPTT? I haven't looked at that one in a couple of days. I think it's worth it. I'll write down VIXI as well. Trader Isaac, PLTR. Justine, Merry Christmas. Larry, how are you, sir? I got a lot of use out of the cap and the jackets, so thank you very much. As a matter of fact, I'm upgrading you, just so you know. You're probably getting email, something, but you're getting upgraded to Gold Light, where you have access to enter the symbols, so that way you don't have to worry about popping them in here. So hope you had a great Christmas. Mr. G, greetings. Chris, greetings. Redfin, yeah, we can go over that. I just replied back to your comment from the other day, Franklin. Denny, hello. Chris S, LCA. Is Tuan on? He had put a quote in for Uber, and I have a potential conflict of interest with the ride shares, so I have to avoid that entire sector. So just to be safe. So I hope he understands that I can't go over that symbol, just to avoid any issues. Casper, hello. How you doing, buddy? You just observing today? Okay. All right, let's get to this. We have the first chart that we're watching, the futures up. We're watching the Dixie. The reason why I have the Dixie up, this is a dollar index, is because the Brexit deal was signed off on Christmas Eve, and I suspected that the euro would be strong. And we are seeing weakness in the dollar, but let's validate that it's the euro that is causing that weakness. Yeah, I mean, it's up. I would have suspected the euro to be up a bit higher than when we're at current. So I'm rather surprised we don't have more of a bump here now that Brexit, as I understand it anyway, is in the rearview mirror. The pound, British pound, not gaining much strength. Surprising. Okay, let's spend a moment. Brexit deal isn't a real deal. It's still a hard Brexit. Don't expect much. Okay? You know more about it than I do. Casper's over in the Netherlands, so I will defer to him. OG1 Kenobi, what's up to you, pal? Nat Gas? That is on my list to go over. Wow. Yeah, it didn't look good. We spoke about this on the week ahead commentary. It's in the members area, or at least in the forum I posted. I don't know if I posted it on the blog yet. But the price of nat gas looks very, very weak. You know, maybe this is a washout for longs. I don't know, but this is a huge, huge move down nearly 9.75% at the open here. That with a lot of cold weather that's coming to the United States, I'm rather surprised. I mean, you have cold weather down in Florida in some areas. Let's segue through. We're on commodities. We went over the dollar. We're into nat gas now, which is not looking good. It looks like it's only going to get worse. Let's segue into, you know, we got to forget commodities. I got to take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just in fuego. Up 13.33% at current. It is very, very overbought. 4-hour chart. These are all before 4-hour charts. We're trading above the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. I can't imagine that we're going to spend all that much more time here. If the dollar continues to move lower, perhaps. If commodities continue to rally higher, not that nat gas is rallying higher, perhaps this will keep a bid under Bitcoin. Copper down. Possible head and shoulders setup on copper. Lumber down by about a 0.5 percentage point. Platinum up. How are we looking technically? We had broken down here last Sunday evening. This has been a very porous support and resistance level. This line here in red. So there's really not much to do here with palladium. If I said platinum before, I apologize. I think I may have. Speaking of platinum, yeah, this got rocked last week. Fighting back now. Up spot 41%. You know, we'll see whether or not we're able to close above this resistance level. We've been trying to. And I would not be a buyer of platinum until we closed above this support level and spent a candlestick or so bouncing around, retesting it. And then were I to buy on this possible recapture. We won't know if it's a recapture until it closes. But I would add more if we begin to break out and above this upper band of resistance. So platinum looking okay. Where's my gold? Who took my gold? There we go. Gold. Gold up a little over 1/3 of a percentage point off the highs of the session thus far. It had a down week last week. The gold miners looking good. The silver miners look spectacular. They had a very good week last week. Better than the gold miners. So gold is looking good. Looks like we're gaining strength. If we have time, I'm going to come back. We're going to revisit these before we log off tonight. Let's take a look at protein, lean hogs, flat, nothing happening here. I called up for a solar panel quote, and the guy who won't stop calling me, man. Cattle up slightly. Good formation here. Weekly chart. Oh, look at this monster. Get ready. Get ready. These are your feeder cattle. They broke out the week of the 7th. Consolidated. Here we are. Oh, this is last week. This was last week. This is not current. So great week last week. Beautiful. Beautiful price action. Looks like we're going to get some continuation price action going on here. So liking feeder cattle. Live cattle. Very nice chart. I mean, these are your protein plays. We have a position in an egg company. That's another protein play, Cal-Maine Foods. Rough week last week. It closed up, but it faded on the week. Let's take a look at equities. I wanted everything to settle down. Before we go to equities, I want to see what the dollar is doing. I just want to set up an alert here. I get the feeling that the dollar may break the daily chart of the Dixie. Doesn't look all that bad. We may be putting in a higher low. I went over that with members yesterday. Okay. Let's take a look at... Hey, Pat. How you doing, pal? Merry Christmas to you. Equities. S&Ps. Looks like they gapped them lower. They did. Interesting. This is a pretty good sized gap lower here. Let's go to where are my NASDAQs? They gapped these down too. They're positive now. Looks like we're going to get an outside reversal bar on the NASDAQ 100. Okay. I'm suspect of this rally back. You know, this week we're going into is historically a bullish week, very light volume, computer-driven, algo-driven. They're not going to let it crash. But I'm suspect of a rally back here. Let's take a look at the Russell 2000. Let's watch for a breakout. The Russell's been very, very strong of late. All right. So we'll see whether or not this support level holds. You can see they gapped it down as well, along with the large caps. The question is, do they break it out or do they fade it? Looks like they're going to try to break it out now. All right. Let's... what else do I need to go over here? Bonds. Bonds, bonds, bonds. The 10-year is up slightly, yields down slightly. Where's my light sweet crude? I know I skipped that. There we go. Crude down. Energy had a rough week last week. Crude down almost a percentage point. We have a W formation on this 4-hour chart. Let's create an alert here. You know, as we begin the new year, I'm very suspect of this market being able to hold these gains without some sort of a correction. I frankly don't care what the Federal Reserve is doing right now. I mean, if you take a look at what the Federal Reserve has been doing, trying to keep yields lower since, what, April? Yields have only gone higher. So that's why I'm so focused on the bond market. And if you begin to see the dollar, this is the tell. This is when you know that things are going to get real fast, is when you're seeing the U.S. dollar dropping along with Treasury bonds. Because what that means is that that's the world waking up and saying, we don't want any more part of this. Now, the headlines that were coming into the week are not wonderful. We know this is a signature on the Brexit deal. You know, whether it be a hard Brexit, soft Brexit, it's now. And I'll let Casper correct me on this, but are the negotiations done, Casper, or are there more to go? So I'll wait for Casper to educate me. I'm certainly no expert on this, and I would rather defer to somebody who's far more educated on it, and I'll take my cues from him. So Brexit deal off the table, should be dollar bearish, euro bullish, and British pound bullish. Bitcoin we know about, in Fuego going up a lot higher. So this is a chart. I pulled this off of Twitter. I forgot who posted this. Anyway, here's the S&P 500 valuations. I wish they would have put a 2 or a 3 standard deviation Bollinger Band on. Not a Bollinger. A 2 standard deviation, negative, positive, or a 3 standard deviation to see where we were. But you could see that historically, we are in bubble territory when it comes down to valuations. This is a market that is priced for perfection. So I keep getting comments that, you know, a declining U.S. dollar is good for our exports. That is true. We will sell more widgets. But the problem is that as the U.S. dollar drops in value, the input cost to create or manufacture those widgets goes up as well. So it's a double-edged sword. Borrowing costs are what matters most. So what we'll be looking at is yields. Do we break out? Do we see a one handle before the new year? That would be a tell. So just beware as we're going into this new year. Beware of where we're at in terms of S&P valuations. Boeing. I know there are a lot of Boeing fans out there. I have been one. We did book profits on Boeing. This came out on Christmas. Boeing 737 MAX emergency landing after engine failure. No bueno. In fact, let's take a look at the Dow Jones futures. See if there's going to be any spillover. And it may be nothing. If I could find them. I rarely bring the Dow futures up. I don't want to waste everybody's time here. Awkward silence. Come on, Bob. You could do it. You could do it. There we go. Now, the Dow futures are down. So maybe we're going to get some spillover into the Dow with regard to the Boeing news. You can see they gapped it down, rallying back. Do we break out or do we fail? That's the question. We'll circle back on this. Gold is taking off now. Watch 1912 on spot gold. We have a breakout on the NASDAQ 100. So we're picking up steam here. The Dow just went positive. So it looks as though we're going to have probably a positive open tomorrow. Good consolidation here. We all know about this. This is dead. Shutdown looms as Democrat bid for $2,000 relief. Fails. What an utter disaster. All right. Economic data that was released last week. Initial jobless claims dropped a bit, but still very high. Durable goods, outstanding number. And one of the charts that we're watching into the new trading week, I posted on the members area in the week ahead commentary and on best stock charts for the coming week. Whirlpool, WHR, looking very good. Core inflation. You have to laugh. If you don't laugh at these numbers, you're going to cry. So core inflation, there is no inflation. It's zero. Goose egg, nothing. What's coming out this week? Okay, nothing on Monday. Case-Shiller home prices. That's going to be a big number. They're going to blow a balloon, a bubble in housing again. Chicago PMI on Wednesday. Thursday, initial jobless claims as normal. Not much coming out this week. So they're going to make this market move up higher this week, as sure as God made green little apples, absent some geopolitical event. Let's take a look at some chart requests. Folks, this segment's going to be brought to you by our friends over at TrendSpider, the next generation in artificial intelligence, and they are changing the game in terms of charting. They're automating it. They're using scanners, charting, insights, and insights meaning back testing, as well as a great scanning tool here. And in fact, I'm no longer offering on a gold level membership, I'm no longer offering trading sim because it's duplicative. Their TrendSpider is eating their lunch for the most part. So in terms of the back testing strategy tester, so if you enjoy automated technical analysis, click of a button, automated trend lines. This is for you, whether you're experienced or not. It's my spell check for technical analysis. I would strongly encourage. They have a 50% off sale. Use the link below. Don't use my discount code. That's only 35%. For the holidays, they have a 50% discount. Take advantage of it. TrendSpider. Okay, let's take a look at some. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Actually, let's go to Bitcoin last. I want to go to AGQ first. All right. So AGQ, we're long of it for disclosure purposes. I think Corey asked about this. I could have sworn I went over this yesterday on the week ahead. All right. So we'll go over it again. So the monthly chart, here's what concerns me about silver. I think it's going to be overcome. We have resistance at $50.75. On a monthly time frame. It's been resistance for several months now. The however here, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Let's add this. Your RSI is telling you that silver is breaking out. You have an indicator leading price performance. Weekly chart. You can see what was the high last week? Monthly resistance. So I don't think I went over silver this evening. Let's see what it's doing. I like using spot silver. Where is it? There we go. Silver, major move. Up about 1.5%. I think we're going up higher. This is a 4-hour chart. Okay, so obviously this is not updated yet for the price of silver. $50.75. That's my line in the sand. If we begin to close above on a weekly time frame, maybe even a daily time frame, and we hold, we consolidate above that mark, I'm a buyer. I want to add more to my position. We have a beautiful W formation here. Where is the pivot point? You guessed it, right here, 50.75 on the AGQ. That puts you long of silver. I like it. Although there is resistance above, I think it's going up higher because the dollar is, you got to get out of dollar-denominated assets, or at least diversify. It's going to get bad. Daily chart, good day on Thursday. Again, resistance above. Watch 50.75, close above that mark. I like silver. I think it's going higher. RVLV. Revolve Group. What is this, a SPAC play? Major breakout here, obviously, on the month. 24.79 would be support. Let's go to a weekly chart, more data there. All right, so it got ahead of itself the week of the 14th, but we did have a continuation move higher last week. The however is that we sold off. So no great shock. You would expect it as we traded above the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. You're not supposed to be there. Expect selling at some point in time. Sometimes you trade sideways. Sometimes you sell off hard. This one had a moderate sell-off. No huge red flags here. An inside day on on Thursday. So rules-based approach. Identify your support levels. Identify your resistance levels. And here's why I would be interested in these shares on a retest of support. All right, so S1 of 2, because I want to note to myself that there's a better looking support level below, right here. And I live off of these alerts. Rules-based approach. If this, then that. Okay. Now I do what I do best. I set it and I forget it. There we go. Check some comments. Jets won again. I'm not sure the weighting of BA in the Dow Jones. That sounds about right, though. Casper, I'm reading your note now. Okay. More to come on this Brexit deal. I need to get better educated. TK Jane, good evening, sir. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you, too. Will's on fire tonight. Nestor, good evening, Bob. Happy holidays. Same to you. Trump tweeted, "Got good news on COVID relief bill. Information to follow 10 minutes ago." Okay, so they're negotiating. All right. Big Bear. You got it, pal. BFT. Okay. Let's move on here with these other symbols. We have VIAC. Oh, Viacom. Viacom's looking very good. I just hit the automated trend lines, and you can see that right here, we have a bit of resistance at around not $86 per share. I'm sorry, $36 per share. I'm sorry. And we closed at $35.99. So beware. We have resistance immediately above. I do like the chart. I do think it's going up higher. This is a monthly chart. Weekly time frame. Nice consolidation on the weekly time frame. I'm going to overlay monthly resistance on this weekly chart to visualize. And there it is. There's your resistance level. So I think that on a breakout above this resistance level and volume shelf, these shares could be bought. I would stay small and wait for a close above this resistance level. So here we go. We want to break through zero sensitivity. All I care about is a close above that mark. VIA reminding myself about monthly resistance. Keep it active. Then I want to know when we break out and above that monthly resistance level. That way I could either add or open a position. Breakout. There we go. We're good to go. VIAC looking good here. I love the weekly consolidation. I think this is going to go fairly soon. It's going to go up higher. Somebody's leaving notes in the Slack forum. I'll get to that in a moment. Okay. Daily chart looking very good. Bullish reversal bar on Thursday. Like it. I think we go higher. Very bullish. OPTT. So this is probably my favorite view of OPTT. We are on the verge of a major breakout here on OPTT. We had broken out. We became overbought. We've pulled back, consolidating nicely in a monthly time frame. Weekly chart. They tried to break it out last week. We were rejected. Huge volume shelf here. You need to wait. $8.26 per share. 326. The threes look like eights to me. The eights look like threes. It drives me crazy. So there we go. That's better. Okay, so wait for a breakout above that 326 per share. Close above that mark. That to me would be an all clear to begin buying the shares. Daily chart. They tried to rally. They were rejected. Holding support. RSI looking good. Let's overlay. Oops. Weekly trend lines, if we have any. Nothing going on. There we go. Okay. So you can see up here in dash line, that's where we have weekly resistance above. So from a risk reward perspective, you have a good ways to go before we hit resistance. I think OPTT is going to break out. I like it. I think it goes higher. Pat, Bob, check out your text. What are you sending me, nudies? That's outstanding. Pat, is it all right? I put it up in front of the camera? I want your permission first before I do it. It's great. I love this. That's great. All right. I'll wait for Pat's response. That's outstanding. Vixie, V. Okay. The VIX got hammered last week. It's good? Okay. This is what Pat, one of our fellow members, sent over. Let me know if you could see this, all right? This is his grandson watching me on his laptop. Hopefully you can see that. This is why I love this job. I'll bring it up closer. Love it. Thanks, Pat. Outstanding. Outstanding. Okay. The VIX got hammered last week. This is a monthly view. I think that we're going lower on the VIX. So far, a very bearish month. Weekly chart. I mean, last week was just annihilated. We have a volume shelf below here. Come on, what are you doing to me? Down at 1285, not on the VIX, but the VIX-C. I think we're probably going to go there. I mean, let's take a look at the CBOE volatility futures now. They're down over a half percentage point, and it looks like they want to go lower. And this being a seasonally bullish period of time with not a lot of economic data coming out this week, I wouldn't want to be long of volatility. I think it's going to be a risk-on week. So I would have to say avoid right now. Wait for a bullish reversal day, week. And you should see the S&P 500 down as well. Daily chart. Not loving it. I think there's more downside here. 1335. Interesting point to watch as a possible buy. I wouldn't put an advanced order out there at that number because it might just very well break. PLTR. Palantir. It was able to recapture support last week. But Thursday was not a good day. Horrible day, in fact. You can see we have a volume shelf where they found support last week on Thursday at around 27.57. If we break that support level, I would avoid. I would not get long. If we manage to gap up and close above 28.60 per share, that would be interesting. And then add more as we begin to break out above 29.50. Then you have momentum, which is again back. Right now, it's trying to find its footing. I wouldn't want to short it. I wouldn't want to buy it right now. I'd want it to prove that it's worthy of our investment dollar and that it should be able to close above one or both of these resistance levels. Does the closing high on weekly mean anything for PLTR? It didn't close at the highs. So I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, but it didn't close at the highs of the week. In fact, it faded on the week, and that's a major concern. What we extrapolate from this type of price action is that all these candlestick topping tails, wicks, shadows, call them cupcakes, it doesn't matter. They're not good. What the market is telling you is that you have sellers above. There's resistance out there. That's why it's so important for us, before we got exposed to the shares or added to the shares, we want to see a close above 28.59, or if you want to be really speculative, watch for a retest 27.57. Stay really, really small. Test the market. Stop loss right below. All right, so I'm marking this as a speculative long entry for a reason. It's because I'm reminding myself, you set an alert here, but you weren't overly confident. Now, where I would become more confident is when we start seeing buyers outmaneuver sellers. Now, the Pimp Mac Daddy of them all is not this resistance level, but 29.50. You close above 29.50. That means you have a new weekly high. That means all of these guys in here, all of those would-be sellers that won out the week last week from 29.50 down to 27.60, thereabouts, they're gone. They've been overwhelmed. So that means that the bulls are now becoming in charge, and they're taking out resistance. So to me, there's less risk by paying more, if that makes sense. And there we have it. Set it, forget it. I'm not going to think about it. If they fire off, we'll revisit. Let's just do a quick look at the Stokes. All right, they're still all right. It's a fairly tight consolidation. Let's bring up a weekly chart. Really, it all comes down to this. We start busting out above 29 bucks a share, 29.50 per share. I mean, this is going a lot higher. So PLTR looking interesting. That's my take. You got it, Trader Isaac. If we have time, I'll definitely do a trill for you. NY Jets. Happy holidays, buddy. I was driving through South. I think was it South Carolina? Man, it's like the firecracker capital of the world down there. Okay. Trill. I think we'll have time. Bio for R Train. All right. Let's blow through these. I'd like to circle back and take a look at the futures before we log off. LCA, weekly chart. This is a buy. Lacadia Holdings, right off the bat. We broke out last week. Now, what would be interesting is if we did a retest. Nice breakout. Bullish key reversal bar Wednesday and Thursday. Very nice. I think it's going up higher. Very nice chart. And you don't have much in terms of volume above. I mean, this thing gets going. There's going to be a lot more behind it and not much to stop it. I mean, take a look at a monthly chart. The one thing I will point out here, and I just caught this, is that we are trading above the third standard deviation Bollinger Band on a monthly time frame. So just be aware of that. But it does look shorter term that it is going up higher. DMYT. Weekly chart. Another monster. Very strong uptrend here. Not much in terms of overhead supply, meaning resistance. Daily chart. Bit of a doji formation on Thursday. I think the path of least resistance remains higher. Good support level. If we were to pull back, 2205, very nice support. Beware of your RSI here. RSI on a daily time frame is at 88.62. And when you have RSI flashing an overbought signal like this, and then you have your candlestick, which the prior day saw a big fat wick, shadow, whatever, which is a sign of sellers above. Then you have a doji star formation, which is a sign of indecision between bulls and bears. That's when things get a bit iffy. So me personally, I would not initiate a new trade here. I would be thinking more about where I long. How do I plan my exit on this trade? And I'd probably do it using a laddered trailing stop loss order. I'm not saying it can't go higher. It probably will. But this is unsustainable. You're going to get a pullback. So beware of that. If you're overweight, you may want to think about making some profits real here, because the last time we were this overbought, it didn't end that well, right? Same thing back here. So don't lose out on any profits that you have. Start scaling out. Make some of that money real. BFT. Hmm. You got me stumped on this one. I have to think about it. All right. Two ways to approach this. Both are good. 1542 resistance. I would do this. This is a daily chart. I would create an alert at 1472. The reason why I'm writing test is that it's a speculative entry point. I like a breakout above 1542 a lot better. But there's no reason on a pullback, why not pick up a couple of shares if the overall macro trend remains to the upside. Now, the reason why I have a little bit of doubt in my voice is that they tried to break it out on Thursday. It was rejected because you have a lot of volume up here, a lot of sellers. That leads me to believe that we may pull back early this week, retest support, but buyers will probably step back in because you're going to have buyers of like mind at that price point. I mean, if this thing closes the month out above 1542, it's going to go up a lot higher. It's a good looking stock, extremely volatile. We were able to put in a new higher high in late December versus the 14th of December, but it did fade. I think ultimately it's going to go up higher. I like the way it just digested this overbought condition. This is a very strong stock. All right, Bio-Rad Labs. More topping action here on the month. Last month was pretty bearish, yet we did not put in a new monthly low. We put in an inside month. So this one's pretty simple. Then I'd set up the more important one. Ugh. Right up here. Right at around 602. There you have it. It's a good looking setup. No rush to get involved here. Just beware. You really don't want to see a new weekly low here. So if we do get that new weekly low, I would take a step back and wait and see whether or not this support level holds, because that's critical. Costco, VEEV. Okay. Weekly chart breakout last week. Nice. Watch for a retest of support. It's strange. Sometimes I draw these manual trend lines. It lets me create an alert. Other times it won't. Strange. I got to talk to our pals over at TrendSpider about that. Nice breakout. Love to see a retest. On that retest, I'd be a buyer. If you're so inclined or momentum trader, you want to buy on a new weekly high. Let's take a look at the daily chart to see if that's okay. A little bit of stalling action up here. I'd want to see a close above 292.69. That would get me excited. Or else I want to wait for a pullback to support. And the support level may hold here as well. Not as attractive to me at 282.68, right where this volume shelf is. Ideally, more so back here. That would be a retest of the breakout point. Far more attractive. Trill, we're going to leave off with this one. Then I'm going to circle back to the futures. Trill under some pressure here, to say the least. Very speculative. We took out this low. If you're going to pull the trigger, this resistance level here, 13.18, attractive. More importantly, is this resistance level up here at 14.40, because that puts you above this volume shelf. Using the automated trend lines, you can see you have some rock solid support down here, but that doesn't help you at all. Let's overlay some weekly resistance. We have resistance above. I don't like the lower lows. I don't like it. I think that 1440 mark, it takes you above weekly resistance and a whole bunch of other sellers. I like 1440. Where do we close? 1302. If you're going to nibble, no matter what I say, wait for close above 1320 per share. Stay small, add more on a close above this resistance level. Let's circle back and take a look at the futures and see how they're holding up. VIX remains very weak. I'm going to use a 30-minute chart to see if we have any weakness beginning to build. Dollar reversing a bit here. Again, 30-minute chart, very volatile. Euro. waning a bit here. Light sweet crude, very weak. S&Ps stalled out here a bit, but still up. Gold continued to gain, however, stalling out a little bit extended relative to that third standard deviation Bollinger Band. Russell up nearly a quarter percentage point, looking good. Home heating oil, weak along with oil. And we'll leave off with silver. Silver, a monster. No Bitcoin, but a monster nonetheless. With that, folks, I'm going to say thank you very much, as always, for sharing your Sunday night with me. Please smash that like button. It helps me out so much with the YouTube algorithm. And everyone have a profitable trading week. If you're going to check out, you're going to go on vacation, you're going to not look at the stock market, have a very, very Merry New Year. All the best and a healthy one to everyone. What a year this has been. And everybody have a great night again. Thanks for being here. You make it worthwhile. Have a great night. I'll talk to you soon. Be well.